As you all know, the deadline for Congress to restore net neutrality using the Congressional Review Act was initially December 10th, but thanks to dysfunction in Washington, D.C., it has since been extended to December 21st. Thankfully, because since Democrats and Republicans haven't agreed on a bill to fund the government, well, that dysfunction kind of worked out in our favor for the first time in a while, and now we have more time to get to the 218 signatures needed to actually nullify the FCC's 2017 repeal of net neutrality. Now, not too long ago, I told you about how ISP-funded Democrats were conspicuously ghosting their constituents on this particular issue because it's clear that Americans want net neutrality, but these 18 Democrats have refused to sign on to the CRA, and one of them is newly elected Democratic Representative Mary Gay Scanlon from Pennsylvania's 7th Congressional District, and she actually did decide to respond to her constituents after receiving an influx of phone calls, all of which urging her to sign on to the CRA. And she released a video to Facebook Live letting them know that she heard their concerns. She, took all their phone calls, and after weighing out what they want her to do, it's a no. She's not going to sign on to the CRA. Now, in this video that I'm about to show you, the reasoning that she gives is pretty suspect, and she actually, I'm assuming, lied to her constituents because she told them something that is just factually incorrect.
I want to thank the constituents who've been calling my office asking me to sign on to the CRA discharge petition to protect net neutrality. One of my goals in Congress is to be transparent and accessible, so I wanted to let you know, first of all, that we've heard your messages and I've considered all of them, and I wanted to explain to you my decision on the petition. I've decided not to sign the petition because a discharge petition is an arcane congressional maneuver. It requires 218 signatures to be successful, and there's no way that those signatures will exist by tonight, which is the deadline. What there isn't a deadline on is good legislation to protect net neutrality, and I look forward to working on that. We've already started reviewing legislation, and I've signed on to several bills involving public schools, involving gun violence prevention, immigration reform, voting rights, and healthcare. So this is a conversation that I look forward to continuing. Please reach out to us. Please call the office. Please email. Send us letters. We even have a fax machine around here somewhere. And I look forward to hearing from you.
Oh, and you will. So we are absolutely going to call her. But before we call her office, I do want to give you some additional information because out of all of the 18 Democrats who are refusing to sign on to the CRA, she is a case that is particularly egregious according to Gizmodo's Del Cameron, and he reports activists marked Representative Mary Gay Scanlon, a Democrat of Pennsylvania, who was sworn in less than a month ago, as a particularly egregious case. In a Facebook video this week, Scanlon acknowledged having received numerous calls from constituents, but claimed she was refusing to sign on to the CRA because it is, she said, an arcane congressional maneuver. The Congressional Review Act was enacted in 1996. Scanlon, whose campaign's second largest contributor was Comcast and whose office has dodged inquiries from reporters, also claimed there was no way the required number of signatures would be collected before the December 10th deadline, failing to inform the some 3,000 Facebook viewers that the deadline has actually been extended. It's unclear whether Scanlon was misinformed. Scanlon, whose campaign issue page featured a now deleted section promoting net neutrality, also echoed a common telecom industry talking point that net neutrality should only be addressed through congressional legislation, even though the FCC's ability to enact administrative law stems entirely from legislation passed by Congress. This argument is often used by Republican lawmakers and net neutrality opponents when attempting to derail congressional efforts to overturn the FCC's decision. Now, the reason why opponents to net neutrality often like to recite this point about, I support net neutrality, we just need to pursue a legislative fix. The reason why they say that is because look at what happened in California. I mean, they have a supermajority in that state. Democrats hold a supermajority, and how many attempts were there to water down that bill? Having a bill, you just automatically subject it to scrutiny from lobbyists, from the telecom industry, and they know that they can get in the ear of lawmakers and water it down. They've actually proposed shell net neutrality bills that are basically written by telecom lobbyists. I've covered these stories on my channel before. So it's nothing more than a red herring. They want you to think they're on your side because the issue is overwhelmingly popular. Most Americans want net neutrality, but in actuality, they are reciting an industry talking point. Now, as the article states here, she took money from Comcast. They're her second largest contributor. Now, how much money did she take? Well, specifically, she received $10,000 from Comcast in PAC money. Now, that may not necessarily seem like that much given how much money is swirling around in DC, but for a first-term representative, this is actually quite a bit of money. So we need to go through all of the reasons why she's made it very clear that she's against the people here. First of all, she lied to her constituents about the CRA deadline. Now, I'm assuming she lied. Maybe she was just misinformed. That's entirely possible. But if you are a member of Congress, I mean, it's incumbent on you to know about the deadlines for important votes like this. So I just don't think that she's that ignorant. I don't. Second of all, she deleted references to net neutrality off of her website. I actually went to her website and the page was just presumably deleted because it says not found. She took net neutrality off of the issues page. I mean, how brazen is that? Additionally, she called the CRA arcane. Again, either she's lying or misinformed. At this point, I don't know which one is worse. And of course, the worst is that she took $10,000 in PAC money from Comcast. So she said she wants to hear from us, so she's going to hear from us. Her DC office is 202-225-2011, and her office number for Springfield is 610-690-7323. Now, according to the article, her office is not taking calls. We're going to try that anyway. If not, we will tweet to her. Her Twitter handle is @MaryGayScanlon. So I'm going to try her DC office and see if I have any luck with that. So that's 202-225-2011.
Thank you for calling the office of Congresswoman Mary Gay Scanlon. I am sorry that we cannot take your call right now. Please leave your name and contact information in a detailed message, and someone from our office will get back to you shortly. For more information about how to contact our office and the services that we provide, please visit our website at scanlon.house.gov. We look forward to speaking to you soon.
Record your message after the tone. When you've finished, you can hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hello, Representative Mary Gay Scanlon. I just wanted to call and urge you to actually listen to your constituents and sign on to the CRA resolution to restore net neutrality, because you recently made a Facebook video where you claimed that the deadline had passed, but being a member of Congress, you would know that the deadline actually has been extended to December 21st. So either you lied to your constituents or you're just misinformed. And even if it's the case that you're right and there's no way we can get to the required 218 signatures, well, you still need to prove which side you're on. Are you on the side of the internet service providers or your constituents? Because you've done things that are suspect. First of all, since you were elected, you deleted references to net neutrality from your website, and most importantly, you took $10,000 from PAC money, in PAC money from Comcast, to be exact. Now, for a first-term representative, that is very suspicious. That's a lot of money. So maybe we should either primary you or have the House Ethics Committee look into you, because maybe there's some type of quid pro quo there. Because, I mean, if you're taking that much money from Comcast and then doing their bidding in a very shameless way, maybe it's the case that something is going on. Maybe there's an underlying quid pro quo. But all you have to do is sign on to the CRA and prove to us that you're on our side. But if you choose to not do that, you're shunning the will of not just your constituents, but the American people who overwhelmingly support net neutrality. So do the right thing, or be on the wrong side of history and be against the activists who have been pushing for net neutrality now for a year. do the right thing, and also maybe think about returning that $10,000 you took from Comcast, because that money is corrupting and it's clearly already had a corrosive influence on you. God damn it.
If you are satisfied with your recording, press 1. To review it, press 2. To delete and re-record your message, press 3.
That's fine.
To send your message now, press 1. To mark it, message sent.
Okay.
To disconnect, press 1. To enter another number, please call again. Thank you.
Okay, so be sure that after you send her the message, you press 1 to send, because I don't know if there's going to be any shenanigans where if you just hang up, the message won't be sent. But that was a little bit long, but I think she got the point. And I knew that I was going to get cut off soon, but I just tried to squeeze in as much as I possibly could. But look, this is completely unacceptable. I mean, these are people who are expected to do the right thing. If you're in the Democratic Party, there's democracy in the name of the party you subscribe to, that you're a member of. So do democracy. Your constituents have clearly been calling you. I mean, you acknowledged it. Listen to them. Sign on to the CRA. And don't just sign on to the CRA and wash your hands. Actually encourage your colleagues to do the right thing and also sign on to the CRA, because as Democrats, we're supposed to be relying on you. So actually fight for us and take a stand for net neutrality. So give her a call and reach out. I already tweeted to her. We have to make sure that she knows, because she's a newly elected member of Congress, that if she wants to do the bidding of Comcast, then she's going to have a tough time, because constituents will continuously put pressure on her so long as she is beholden to Comcast.
Support this podcast by becoming a patron at patreon.com/Humanist Report.